Some of the best frugal living tips have been handed down from generation to generation. I love a bit of old-fashioned frugality because it saves me loads of money to spend on things that make me happy, like days out, experiences, and holidays, for example. This approach to life also has huge benefits to the environment. Too much stuff. I'm not interested in filling our house full of things just for the sake of it, although I don't claim to be a minimalist. We also aim to buy second-hand wherever possible. However, good old-fashioned frugality seems to have skipped a generation. Many people nowadays seem to accumulate stuff and gadgets with no thought to the environment or the effect on their longer-term finances. We think nothing of discarding the old and buying the new when something loses its sheen. It may be perfectly good and usable. We are simply always in a rush to get the next shiny new thing and keep up with everything else. I come across lots of folk who happily live in a sea of debt because they know they can make the monthly repayments. But what happens if something changes? No one's job is 100% safe these days, and no one is immune to illness or misfortune. This is why you should have an emergency fund. Practicing some old-fashioned frugality will help you save for one. In these worrying economic times, living a frugal life can give you spare cash to create this sort of financial buffer. Do it for the planet. As someone who has been banging on about this stuff for many years, I am heartened to see that there is finally an awareness growing about the need to change our consumerist lifestyle. Our great-grandparents would have been amazed at our wasteful lifestyles. They wouldn't have known what a single-use item was. Everything was used again and again because they had much less and placed more value on what they owned. They didn't waste stuff because they couldn't afford to. If we could mentally step back into their shoes, we could go a long way to resolving our current climate crisis and the mess we have made of the environment. Old-fashioned frugality would mean we would balk at single-use plastics and never dream of wasting food. We would wear our clothes until they either didn't fit or fell apart, at which point they would be passed on or turned into something else. Fuel wouldn't be wasted. We would make our transport and our homes as energy efficient as possible to keep our bills low. Cooking and eating. Cooking skills are no longer taught in our schools. Many families live off takeaways and convenience foods. However, your kitchen is the first place to go if you want to go back to some old-fashioned frugality. Learning to cook from scratch is an essential life skill. Knowing that you can confidently throw the ingredients you have to hand together to make a basic meal will save so much money. I am not talking cordon bleu here. Just knowing how to make a pasta sauce, a casserole, a pie, or even bangers and mash will mean you can cut some of your ping meals off the shopping list. Our grandparents knew how to stretch meals when they had to, chucking ingredients like beans and lentils, oatmeal, and potatoes into stews to eke out the meat. Filling up on foodstuffs like bread, potatoes, and dumplings to stop you snacking on crisps, biscuits, and chocolate is healthier as well as cheaper. Avoid food waste and learn to use leftovers. I love it when I don't have to make lunch because there is some of the previous evening's meal in the fridge for me. Growing food. During the Second World War, the UK population was encouraged to dig for victory. Every bit of garden and common land was cultivated to make sure people were fed, as it became too risky to import food. If you have a little bit of garden, you could grow a few tomatoes, courgettes, herbs, and potatoes. Even if you only have a patio, it is possible to grow a little of your own food. It is incredibly cheap to turn a pack of seeds into food for your family. It will also have far fewer, if any, chemicals and no food miles. Preserving the harvest. Whatever you grow or forage, learning some simple preserving skills is essential. The internet is awash with recipes for jams and pickles. A freezer is essential if you grow your own, which is something our great-grandparents would have been delighted by. How about filling yours with homegrown bounty rather than oven chips and pizzas? You can also dry fruit, herbs, and vegetables, or even learn the old-fashioned art of canning. So easy. Sewing is another life skill our schools no longer have time to teach. I am no seamstress, but I know how to repair a hem, sew on a button, patch a torn knee, and mend a hole. This is a good bit of old-fashioned frugality worth learning if you want to make your clothes last longer. Get your older relatives to show you how, or look it up on YouTube. Household cleaning. We spend millions on chemical-laden cleaning products as a nation. The clever marketers have convinced us that we need to kill every germ. You would think we didn't have an immune system. How did the human race get this far? We are told that we need a different spray for each room in the house. It all comes in plastic bottles that might or might not be recycled. But what if there was a simple, cheaper, and less chemically invasive way to clean your house? There is. Our grandparents knew how to clean efficiently using basic products such as soda crystals, soap flakes, white vinegar, and bicarbonate of soda, saving energy and water. When you had to collect and chop firewood to heat your house, you didn't waste the fuel. You wouldn't heat the whole house when you were all sitting in one room, for example. Our great-grandparents knew that thick curtains and draft excluders kept the warmth in and put on another layer or two when they were cold. They didn't have the benefit of our modern-day heating systems. Don't get me wrong, I appreciate my boiler. However, we have still insulated the loft, filled the wall cavities, and fitted good curtains at the windows. Some good old-fashioned frugality will save you money on your energy bills. Likewise, you can be savvy with the amount of water you use. You wouldn't leave the tap running whilst you cleaned your teeth or have the deepest bath every day if you had to collect the water first. I love a hot bath when it's cold and I am achy and tired. But most of the time, a quick shower suffices. Buy well and look after your stuff. Another reason I like to buy secondhand is that it generally means I can buy better quality at a low price. We have all bought cheap and regretted it. When you need something new and can't find it secondhand, be it a pair of shoes or a washing machine, try to buy the best quality you can afford. Look after what you have. I remember our shoes lasting for ages as kids because my dad would clean and polish them all once a week. We also paid to get them resoled and reheeled if they needed it. They were good quality leather shoes and we made them last. Change your mindset. Good old-fashioned frugality is about looking after what you have and valuing it, becoming more resourceful and doing stuff for yourself, and, above all, not wasting anything. Once you get into the mindset of stopping waste and saving money, it becomes second nature. For example, when I open a letter, I place the empty envelope with my collection of scrap paper to be used for writing notes and shopping lists. I keep old margarine and large yogurt pots for storage. When we have leftovers, we store them in these pots, in the fridge or freezer as ready meals. I make stock from bones and vegetable peelings. Most meals are cooked from scratch. It is second nature to use food up rather than throw it away, or at least freeze it for later. If food arrives from the supermarket in plastic bags, I put them aside for reuse as they come in handy. Jiffy and other mailing bags get used again, as do small cardboard boxes. The washing machine and dishwasher rarely go on unless they are full. Clothes are dried on the line. We aren't perfect and are still on our journey towards old-fashioned frugality. Why not join us?